Okay, so this is the second section, or the light blue lessons of practical problem solving and programming. This is lesson 2 of the second section. And today's lesson we're going to have a look at understanding and using pseudocode, especially the if statement. So we're going to have a look at the if statement and how it's used. We're going to look at data types and how they're declared in pseudocode. We're also going to attempt task 1 for the pre-release material. Now with the task 1 I'm going to create a second video. So as soon as I get onto the attempt for task 1, I'm going to stop this video, I'm going to create a second video, and it will have 2 versions to answer task 1. So it'll be the version 1 which I did in lesson, and then I'll run a second version, and then we can see which one we may want to use. So you may want to use a second version rather than the one that I showed you in lesson. When I move on to task 2, I'm going to look at creating the same sort of video. So it'll be a version 1, so it'll be a task 2 solution for version 1 and a task 2 solution for version 2 as well. So we'll have a look at that. Hopefully I'll create them over the weekend, over this coming weekend. Looking at objectives. So the first thing is we're going to look at the if statement in pseudocode, so also known as the if, then, and else, and end if statement. Let's have a look at an example if statement here. So we've got a pseudocode here. So we're going to have a look at what each of these lines do. So we've got this one here, which basically stores the number 10 into number 1 variable. We've got number 5 that is stored into the number 2 variable. And then we've got the if statement. So if number 1, which is this one, is greater than number 2, then output num1 is greater than num2. Else output num is less than or equal to num2, and then end the if statement. Okay, and that is how you would write a piece of pseudocode. So in this line here, where the if statement actually starts, so it follows it follows a set of rules. So if this statement is true, so when this statement is true, like in the previous lessons when we looked at the true and false statements and the various different ways in which you get true and false, or various different conditions you would use to get true and false. This is how it works out. So if this statement is true, okay, then it will print out number 2. Okay, if it's false, okay, it will print out, it will go to the next line. So if it's true, it will do everything in here. If it's false, it will jump to the next else statement. Okay, so let's have a look at what the else statement actually does. Well, the else statement will execute the line of command if the if is not met. Okay, so if the if condition is not met, then the else statement will process whatever's in there. Okay. The other question which I asked everyone in lesson was, why are lines 4 and 6 indented? Well, the idea is that these 2 lines actually belong to a root. Okay, so you've got the output here, or this line here belongs to this if statement, and this output here belongs to the else statement, and nothing will happen unless the condition is met. So once this condition is met, then this will be executed. Otherwise, it'll be this line. Okay, so in lesson, what I did next was I got you guys to have a go at creating a program in Python, and the statement is there in Python. Okay, so this Python program directly translates into that pseudocode. Okay, notice how similar this program actually looks to pseudocode language, and how how similar it is. I've forgotten the colons there. So at the moment it won't work because the colons aren't there. So the idea is that this program in Python does the same as that program there. Okay. Okay. So next we're gonna look at basic data types. We're gonna have a look at pseudo data types and how we would write them in our program and how we declare them. Okay. When we input data, we need to make sure that we declare data types to assign basically what kind of data goes into each variable. And we've got 5 different types of data types there in pseudocode, and how they're actually written is there as well. There is a support website which goes into further detail about those data types and how they work, and so if you could just log on to that site, so navigate to that site, and the username is there, B677JG with bitmap 9 as the password, and have a go at some of the different tasks within this section. Okay, so let's have a look at these data types and what they are. So we've got integer there. An integer basically shows you're saving the data as a whole number. Then we've got real numbers, which aren't whole numbers, so they would have you would have i.e. decimal places, so 2.0. So 2.0 will be a real number, whereas a whole number would be 2. Okay. Then we've got char. Okay, so char actually holds a single character and it only takes up 1 byte of storage. Okay, and then we've got string. So text or string data type can hold any alphanumeric character, including text, numbers, and symbols, but it only goes up to 255 characters. So the maximum you can store in there is 255 characters within a given string. Now, a question was asked: why have chars when you can have strings and just put 1 letter in there, should we say? Well, the idea is you would be not assigning that amount of data if you use a char. So if you use a string, your program is automatically assigning 255 bytes to your program for that particular variable, whereas a char, it would only assign 1 byte as a memory location. So it becomes more efficient if you use char on single characters. And then we've got booleans. Booleans essentially is the true and false, or 1 and 0, or yes and no section of data types. Okay, so we can use these data types when assigning variables. So for example, in pseudo, when you assign a variable like cost of trip, you would say real in front of it to assign it a real number. Because obviously the cost of a given trip would be in pounds or euros or dirhams, and you would have the denomination beyond it. So yeah, so I'm going to stop the video there, because on the next slide we've got task 1, and task 1 I'm going to show you in a separate video. So I'll record a separate video, and as I said earlier, I'm going to show you version 1, which is in the lessons that I delivered. And I'm going to show you a second version, which I was able to sort of create. Okay, so that'll be all in the next video, just for task 1. Thank you.